12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Making news this morning, a double shooting on the city's west side ends with 2 people in the hospital. We have the latest on their conditions just ahead.
And President Donald Trump is returning to the campaign trail after his doctor announced he is no longer at risk of spreading COVID-19.
And taking a live look out at the Alamo City. Already 74 degrees to start your Monday morning. We're going to be joined with Mike Osterhage just a few moments. Good morning. It is Monday, October 12th. Whew, I'm excited.
I am too. Thanks for joining us. Well, sort of. I'm excited about the week and that it's Monday, but I'm a little sad because the Longhorns.
It was a long, hard-fought game.
Yeah.
And you know what? All the credit to all the guys out there. Did what they could at the end of the day, just came up a little bit short. But other than that, how was the rest of your weekend?
It was good. How about yours?
It was good. I was here. I was hanging out with my friends.
That's true, but it got hot, right?
It did get hot. Record
yesterday, close to it on Saturday. Both days 97 degrees. Yesterday's record was 96. This morning, and then to put it in perspective, we've cooled down 23 degrees.
Oh, good.
Yeah, but we're still at 74 degrees. That's all we've dropped down. I don't think we're going to be dropping down really that much more because the humidity, you step outside, it's like, yeah, summer's back. What's the calendar say? Forget about that. 74 here in town. 66 is the cool spot, if you will, in Comfort. Otherwise, basically low to mid 70s around the area with a couple of exceptions. And we've got dew points well up into the 70s. 74 right now in Castroville. Again, it feels like summer out there. However, relief is in sight. There is a front up to the north of us, and that's going to be coming on through here. First of all, mold is on the low side. Same thing with the ragweed. So we stay very, very warm this morning, and then throughout the rest of the day, we're going to make it up to 90. The front's going to come through about noon, and you'll notice the wind shift. Now, even though it's cold front, we're still going to be about 6-7 degrees above normal. At least it won't be as warm as yesterday. Then there's another front that's going to be coming through later on in the week. That one is going to bring fall back here. So just be patient, wait a couple of days, we will get some fall weather. Details coming up in just a couple of minutes. Time saver traffic right now on this Columbus Day. Officer Marcus Trujillo, probably not a whole lot of traffic today, I would assume.
Well, I have a feeling it's probably going to be pretty much the same as it has been. A lot of the schools still in session for those that are in either that hybrid mode or those that have already been going. Let's take a look at the map right now. No issues there. Transitioning over to TransGuide. 1604 at Military, you see no problems there. And then 10 at Crossroads, a handful of vehicles, both in the eastbound and the westbound lanes. And moving over to 281 at Winding Way, no problems there. Stephanie?
Now to the latest on a double shooting on the city's west side. San Antonio police say around 8 last night, 2 men were at a bus stop near Zarzamora and Cervelo Street and were reportedly arguing over the Dallas Cowboys. That's when one of the men pulled a gun and shot the other. The wounded man then grabbed the gun from and returned fire. The men then took off in separate directions and were later found by police. They were both taken to the hospital in critical condition.
Now to the latest on the pandemic. President Donald Trump heading back to the campaign trail today. His personal doctor says the president no longer at risk of spreading COVID-19. The president, though, going one step further.
It all comes as Dr. Anthony Fauci is accusing President Donald Trump's campaign of taking his words out of context during a new campaign ad. ABC's Mona Kassar Abdi has the latest.
This morning, President Trump preparing to return to the campaign trail just days after leaving the hospital.
It looks like I'm immune for, I don't know, maybe a long time or maybe a short time. It could be a lifetime. Nobody really knows, but I'm immune.
Kicking off a jam-packed week of back-to-back rallies after his doctor announced the president is no longer at risk of spreading COVID. But during a call with supporters Sunday, the president claimed he's not only COVID-free, but immune to the virus. The president is also touting the experimental treatment, which he credits for his recovery.
We want to get it brought into the hospitals because I really believe it's a transfusion. I really believe that it will solve the problems of a lot of people.
But despite promising results for drugs like remdesivir and Regeneron's antibody cocktail, both of which were part of Trump's treatment, the CEO of Regeneron is now warning the company only has enough doses to treat 50,000 patients.
We have to figure out ways to ration this.
The president is eager to get back on the campaign trail with his poll numbers slipping. When it comes to handling the pandemic, our poll shows voters now trust Joe Biden over Trump by 12 points.
America deserves a president who understands what people are going through.
And now the president's campaign facing new questions.
President Trump tackled the virus head on.
ABC News confirming Dr. Anthony Fauci did not consent to this new ad, in which he's heard apparently praising the president's response to the pandemic.
I can't imagine that anybody could be doing more.
Fauci writing in a statement, quote, "I have never publicly endorsed any political candidate. The comments attributed to me without my permission in the GOP campaign were taken out of context." The Trump campaign says it plans to keep airing the ad, saying the doctor has praised the president's work in the past. One of those topics of praise, the administration's decision to restrict travel during the pandemic. But this morning, the administration is repeatedly in talks with some airlines to fast-track some international travel. The talks coming even as new infections in the UK have doubled in the last week. Pubs and restaurants in some areas now facing tighter restrictions. Mona Kosar Abdi, ABC News, New York.
And here at home, a quick look at the latest COVID-19 numbers in Barrett County. Metro Health reporting 90 new cases, no new deaths, but there is a backlog of 27 deaths ranging from June 21st to September 24th. And we've added that to the total count. 192 people still in local hospitals, 81 of them in the ICU, 39 of them are on ventilators. Time now, 4:36, 74 degrees out.
And still ahead on GMSA, a first look at why rapid testing for COVID-19 could be the solution for holiday travel.
And today, Supreme Court nominee Judge Amy Coney Barrett will focus on her family, morals, and judicial philosophy when she appears before the Senate Judiciary Committee.
And taking a look out with live cam, it is a humid 74 degrees, but much better than the 90s we were seeing over the weekend. We're going to check in with Mike to see what we can expect for the rest of your week. We'll be right back.
Good morning, welcome back, and happy Monday. Senate Republicans on Capitol Hill getting ready for what is expected to be a quick confirmation hearing for President Donald Trump's nominee to replace the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. The 4-day hearing for Judge Amy Coney Barrett will begin later this morning. Senators expected to ask questions in person and virtually, this after 2 members of the committee testing positive for COVID-19. Democrats hoping that those COVID-19 cases would delay the process. Barrett, known as a devout Catholic and a supporter of anti-abortion causes and gun rights.
Utility crews in Louisiana are scrambling to restore power as people in the southwest part of the state vow to rebuild in the wake of Hurricane Delta. Louisiana officials are attributing the deaths of an 86-year-old man and a 70-year-old woman to that hurricane. The remnants of Delta were also blamed for a drowning in Florida. The storm made landfall on Friday before moving over Lake Charles, the town still trying to recover from Hurricane Laura.
And congratulations, Los Angeles Lakers fan. The LA Lakers now tied for the most NBA championships. Technically, they have 17, but you know, in LA, they only have 12. Neither here nor there. Hundreds of fans celebrated last night outside of the Staples Center in LA. The team defeating the Miami Heat. Game 6 of the NBA Finals. They won 106-93. Lakers bringing home the franchise's, again, technically 17th title. This is LeBron James' 4th championship win, his 4th Finals MVP. Boston Celtics, the only other NBA team with 17 titles on the book. So here's the discrepancy, because I keep saying technically, yes, the Lakers have 17 rings, but if we wanted to talk technically, 5 of them were won when they were the Minnesota Lakers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to tell you it still counts.
Yeah, sure. That's fine. It is what it is. But either way, congratulations to all the Lakers fans, Lakers organization, and LeBron James.
And Danny Green.
And Danny Green, that's right. Good point.
Former Spurs.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about what happened in Game 5. All right.
No.
4:42, 74 degrees out.
And still ahead, how a local woman overcame her fears and turned a hobby into a way to help others.
And next, a new push for rapid COVID-19 testing could reopen air travel for popular destinations right before the holidays. We have the details.
And welcome back. It's 4:44. The federal government is teaming up with airlines to reopen flights between New York and London by the holidays by using rapid COVID tests. ABC's Gio Benitez has the details in today's GMA First Look.
In this morning's GMA First Look, a push to reopen travel between New York and London, possibly before the holidays. Airline executives tell ABC News they're working with federal authorities on creating a so-called air bridge between the two cities, where travelers would be tested before flying.
It'll be a great way to open up the borders and begin to open the economies. I can't find one person here in D.C. or overseas that opposes it, but just getting it through the bureaucracy.
This as Tampa International Airport becomes the first in the nation to offer COVID tests to all travelers, no matter where they're going.
We've done about 80 people a day, and our peak day was about 140 people on one day.
So the big question is, which test should we be using? We'll help you understand what's available coming up at 7 a.m. With your GMA First Look, I'm Gio Benitez, ABC News, New York.
And back here at home, a local woman dedicating her life to helping children in need, and she's doing it through her passion of sewing.
Our Daphne Gray explains the major obstacles she had to overcome in order to make this unique charitable dream a reality.
My dad called one day. He was a chaplain at a hospital, and he said, get out your sewing machine. You know, the hospital needs some outfits.
It was this moment that really kicked off 40-year-old Kathleen Gamble's desire to sew, but something was holding her back.
Well, I was always too afraid, you know, because the classroom setting makes me nervous.
Kathleen developed this classroom fear at age 5 after hearing her speech pathologist say something that forever impacted her.
I was borderline retarded and severely dyslexic, and it was the worst thing that she'd ever seen.
She was never officially diagnosed with a learning disability, but that insecurity carried on as she got older, making her extremely shy in school and a victim of bullying.
You know, these people are treating me like this. Well, maybe I am.
It was the comfort and warmth of her grandfather, Almer, that made her feel normal.
He looked past that. He didn't treat me like I was weird.
He died when she was 13, but his life motivated her to turn her problems into positives. Her husband pushed her to follow her passion of sewing, so she had the courage to take classes in 2014.
I just sit there, wait up my turn, you know, for help and just watch everybody sew or learn how to sew. And I'm like, this is great. I had never felt so good in my life.
Today, Kathleen has her own nonprofit called Too Cute to Sleep In. She sews toddlers' clothing to donate to charities.
Enough for feeling sorry for myself. You know, there's some kids who've gone through far more worse.
She's donated at least 600 different outfits so far, and it takes an entire day just to sew one outfit.
And I was sent a photo of the child wearing it. I was like, oh, good, it's not, real long that they're gonna trip.
She also does this service in honor of her best friend, Julia. She was blind and died of breast cancer last year.
She was the most non-judgmental person. You could say the stupidest things and she'd be giggling. She was taught to be fearless.
Kathleen Sewing for Children in Need is tailor-made for What's Up South Texas.
Right now, it seem like everything is there's this dark hole that you're never gonna crawl out, this mental prison. You'll get out of it.
Daphne Gray, KSAT 12 News.
600 outfits.
That's really cool.
That's awesome.
I like that story.
Good for her. All right, time to take a look at the roadways. It is 4:48 this Monday morning. Anything going on out there?
Right now, Max, things look pretty good, so we're going to switch over to TransGuide once again. Get a first-hand view of some of the areas in San Antonio. 281 at Winding Way. North and southbound lanes still running smoothly. No problems here. Ironton and Callahan for the eastbound or the westbound lanes. Now take a look. 410 at Northwest Military Highway. You can see there no issues. More than enough room. And then 1604 Potranco. Not too many folks out there on that far west side right now.
Thank you, Marcus. And a beautiful picture behind you, Mike.
Yeah, great. I mean, we had some beautiful sunrises, sunsets the past couple of days, but boy, it was scorching this weekend. And you mentioned, though, yesterday was fairly comfortable.
In the morning.
Yeah, in the morning, yeah. Not when it got up to 97. Now, a whole different story this morning. By the way, thank you very much for the KSAT Connect picture. And we've got lots of clear skies out there as of right now. High temperature yesterday, 97 degrees. That was a new record. The old record was 96. And a lot of triple digits on the map as well. And today, yes, it will be cooler. Good news, it's cooler. Bad news, we're still going to be about 7 degrees above normal. We'll take what we can get. So this is in behind the first in a couple of fronts that are moving through this week. And the second one is going to be the one that really brings about some fall weather. So this is kind of the first one to trim off the extreme heat. It's still hot. Then, like I said, we get the fall. Dew point changes, the measure of moisture in the atmosphere, like we were just talking about. Yesterday was pretty comfortable in the morning. The dew point is 11 degrees higher this morning. We're in the low 70s right now, 16 degrees higher in Hondo. So the humidity really came on in here, but that's going to be getting on out of here by about late morning, noon, and there goes that button. As the front moves on through here, I knew I was going to lose that. So by noon and early afternoon, it's going to feel much more comfortable out there. The wind's going to shift around to the north. It is going to be very breezy, especially in portions of the hill country. We are going to be seeing winds gusting close to 30, 35 miles per hour in portions of the hill country later on this afternoon. And that dry air continues to come on in here. So it's going to be much more pleasant today, even though it's still going to be up to 90. It'll feel more comfortable. And then that's going to allow for some cooler low temperatures. There, the wind right now, Abilene 21 miles per hour, Wichita Falls 18, so those windier conditions are going to be moving on in here. Now, as far as the dew points, of course, it drops off dramatically later on today and then also tomorrow. Comes back up by Wednesday, Thursday, preceding the next front, and then it really drops off, and this is the much stronger front that moves on through here on Thursday. Going to be breezy again. That's going to knock temperatures down. That's going to bring in some nice fall weather for the end of the week, and basically on the weekend. It'll kind of warm back up a little bit on the weekend, but it's still going to be really comfortable this weekend. Nothing like what we just got through. So, forecast today, 85 degrees at noon, partly cloudy skies, and then we're going to have plenty of sunshine today and a high up to 90. So let's look at the glass being half full. Nowhere near as hot as yesterday, but still it's going to be well above normal. Now, the next 7 days, tomorrow we'll start off 64, a little bit closer to where it should be, 62 on Wednesday, but we're still going to be on the hot side. Then the front moves on through about say early afternoon on Thursday as it looks right now. Windy conditions, that'll pull in much cooler air. It's only 72 degrees on Friday. And then the weekend looks pretty good in the mid 70s with low temperatures in the 50s. We'll be down to about 50 on Saturday morning.
Look at that. It actually is starting to look like fall.
So between yesterday and Thursday, 25 degrees difference in the high temperatures.
My goodness. We'll take it.
Yes. Of course, after this weekend.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. 4:52, 74 degrees out.
And Wonder Woman star Gal Gadot and directors Patty Jenkins are teaming up again for a new movie.
Let's take a look at those Lotto numbers this morning. 5, 2, 6, Fireball 0, Daily 4, 3, 4, 1, 9, Fireball 3.
Cash 5, 18, 24, 26, 34, 35. And your Lotto Texas 2, 7, 23, 38, 51, 53. And your Powerball numbers 5, 18, 23, 40, 50, Powerball 18, Power Play 3. Good luck.
Good morning, welcome back, and happy Monday. Saturday Night Live addressing the fly that we all saw during the recent vice presidential debate, and artists around the world paying tribute to Van Halen.
And for the latest on what's happening in Hollywood, here's ABC's Christopher Watson.
Saturday Night Live's cold open tackled the Kamala Harris-Mike Pence face-off, and its most talked-about moment, the fly that landed on Pence's head.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Vice President Pence. There's a
war on police in this country.
Turns out it was Joe Biden. Jim Carrey once again transforming like Jeff Goldblum in the 1986 movie The Fly.
Yes, your economy is so in the toilet. I want to lay my eggs on it.
Kate McKinnon played moderator Susan Page with Maya Rudolph reprising her Kamala Harris impression.
Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking. I'm speaking.
Following a moment of silence, former Van Halen lead singer Sammy Hagar and former bassist Michael Anthony played the band's 1992 hit Right Now Saturday at a concert in Catalina, California in memory of guitarist Eddie Van Halen, who died last week. Wonder Woman star Gal Gadot and director Patty Jenkins are teaming up again for a movie about Egyptian Queen Cleopatra. And Hugh Jackman is 52. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. I'm Christopher Watson, ABC News.
All right, time now, 4:57, 74 degrees out.
And still ahead, a preview as Supreme Court nominee Judge Amy Coney Barrett gets ready to appear before the Senate Judiciary Committee for her confirmation hearings.
Plus, as Amazon gearing up for the annual Prime Day, other retailers are offering deals on various items as well. We have all the details ahead in Tech Bites.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
The Supreme Court confirmation hearing of Judge Amy Coney Barrett kicking off today. I'm Elizabeth Schulze. What to expect coming up.
And a local family looking for answers after they say their mother was found with bad injuries in the downtown area.
And taking a look out with live cam this morning, it is a humid 74 degrees, but we're expecting some nice surprises later in the week. We're going to check in with Mike in just a bit.
Good morning. It is Monday, October 12th.
Good morning. Happy Monday. Thanks for joining us.
Happy Monday. You had an adventurous weekend.
I did. So my daughter's birthday celebration has been continuous.
It's birthday month now.
Yeah, I guess it's birthday month. So we had a little drive-by parade. We had, family members making a big deal. Yeah.
It was adorable.
So it was cool. But you know what? That was cool, but it was hot outside. It got pretty warm.
Yeah. At least yesterday morning, it was kind of comfortable in the morning, but now this morning, it's like a whole different story when you step outside. Get ready. We are at 74 degrees, but look at the bottom number with dew point of 71. 60 is always that threshold. You get above that, you start to feel the humidity. You get above 70, and you really start to complain about it. But that's all going to be changing by about noon. Now, today, we are going to make it into the upper 80s, low 90s around much of the area. First of all, it's going to be much cooler than yesterday. Yesterday was the record-setting 97 degrees. So, yes, we are dropping down in behind a front. But most noticeably, it's going to be getting rid of the humidity. So it's going to be much more comfortable. And then we get a second front coming through later on in the week. The aquifer went up a little bit in yesterday's count, up 0.3 of a foot. And the allergens, just low amounts of mold and ragweed. Because I know ragweed's been high the past couple of days, but at least it did go down. Now, as far as once again, the allergens, everything is on the low side out there. Temperatures throughout the day, we are in the low to mid 70s, mostly cloudy skies this morning and very, very humid conditions. But then again, at noon, that all changes. Mostly sunny skies. It is going to be very breezy, especially in portions of the hill country. We're going to have winds gusting 30, 35 miles per hour, 90 for a high temperature. But like I said, the nice thing is we get another front moving on through here later on in the week. It's still going to stay hot between now and then. But Thursday, things do change again, and then finally fall is going to make a return. We'll get the exact timing on that coming up in just a couple of minutes. Time saver traffic right now. Here's Officer Marcus Trujillo. Anything going on, sir?
Well, right now, Mike, as we take a look at the roadways, things still look great on the map. So let's take a look at TransGuide, Highway 90 at 36th Street. You can see that we're starting to get a few more vehicles out there on the main lanes, eastbound and westbound. But on the access road of Highway 90 at 36th Street, we do have some construction out there. Once again, that's on the access road, not on the main lanes. Max and Stephanie?
Thank you, Marcus. Now to the Supreme Court. The confirmation hearing for Judge Amy Coney Barrett set to kick off later this morning.
ABC's Elizabeth Schultz in Washington with the latest.
Both the election and the coronavirus pandemic looming large over the Supreme Court confirmation hearing of Judge Amy Coney Barrett. The 22 senators on the Judiciary Committee are expected to appear both in person and virtually during the 4-day event, with 2 Republicans, Mike Lee of Utah and Tom Tillis of North Carolina, recently testing positive for COVID-19. Senate Judiciary Chairman Lindsey Graham telling Fox News Barrett will be confirmed before Election Day.
That's my hope. It'll be up to Senator McConnell what to do after the 22nd, but we can easily get her confirmed before the election.
Senate Democrats vowing to do everything they can to slow down the process.
When the actual vote occurs in committee and on the floor, Democrats will not supply the quorum, period.
Democrats, including Senator and Vice Presidential nominee Kamala Harris, are expected to make the case health care is at stake, with the court set to hear arguments on a challenge to the Affordable Care Act just 1 week after the election.
We are going to focus on the issues that really explain her philosophy and what she will bring to the Supreme Court, what changes she'll make in this country.
Judge Barrett will say her philosophy has been shaped by her mentor, the late Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia, according to a copy of her opening statement obtained by ABC News, saying that deciding policy should be left to the elected branches of government, and the public should not expect courts to do so, and courts should not try. If confirmed, the 48-year-old devout Catholic and mother of 7 would solidify a 6-3 conservative majority on the court. On the campaign trail, Joe Biden refusing to answer questions about whether he would support packing the court, adding justices to shift that balance back toward Democrats if he wins.
They'll know my opinion of court packing when the election is over.
Well, sir, don't the voters deserve to know where you stand?
An official also tells ABC News Democrats are expected to mount additional challenges to the safety of the hearings, citing the pandemic. But without a majority in the Senate, Democrats say they lack any meaningful tools to prevent Judge Barrett from getting confirmed. Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News, Washington.
Back here at home, two brothers now desperately looking for answers after they say their mother was found severely beaten downtown last week. So this all happened right in front of the Little Chapel of Miracles on North Frio Street. Matthew Bessie says his 61-year-old mother, Carrie Bessie, was found having a seizure. She was declared brain dead, and her sons now made the decision to take her off life support. Now, Bessie says an SAPD officer told him she may have fallen, but because of having 4 different brain bleeds, a broken pelvis, and a broken knee, they now believe there's much more to that story.
Trauma surgeon, the doctor that told us everything, he believes that it's blunt force trauma because injuries like that doesn't happen from a fall. It doesn't happen from anything like that. If physically somebody has to punch you hard enough in the back of the head and the side of the head to cause that injury.
Bessie said his mother was homeless and schizophrenic. He says he believes she's wandered off like she'd done in the past before she was attacked and robbed of her things. Now they await an autopsy. They're asking anyone with any information to call police immediately.
And family members of a man killed in a motorcycle crash gathered to remember him. Friends and family of 27-year-old Mario Garcia are paying tribute to him after he was killed in a motorcycle crash earlier this month. San Antonio police say Garcia and 2 other motorcyclists were racing on Southwest Loop 410 between Palo Alto Road and South Zarzamora Street. One of the motorcyclists was taken to the hospital with injuries, but Garcia died on the scene.
He did everything he could to be the man that he knew he needed to be for her.
Police arrested 41-year-old Orlando Martinez, the 3rd motorcyclist, after they say he did not stop to help. According to his arrest affidavit, police identified Martinez after he sent a photo of his injuries to a friend who later showed the police the picture.
Time now, 5:07, 74 degrees out.
And still ahead, a look at how other retailers like Walmart are offering deals to compete with Amazon Prime Day.
And real estate said to be one of the best investments a person can make. And 2020 has been a great year for sellers. Up next, a look at what millennials should consider when purchasing their first home.
And taking a look out with live cam. Yes, it was a hot weekend. But there's
record breaking.
Yes, but there's good news to come. We're excited about it. We're going to check in with Mike after the break. And welcome back. It's 5:10. The housing market in 2020 has been great, especially if you're selling your home.
That's right. But those who are starting their buying experience, first-time buyers, you might not even know where to start.
This morning, we have some tips for millennial home buyers.
Last year, realtors say millennials accounted for 37% of all buyers, making them the most active generation of buyers for the 6th consecutive year. And while some are already ahead of the game, others may just be starting their home buying experience. But before you jump right in, there are some things to consider. First, you'll want to get your finances together before making the big purchase. Realtors say finding out which type of financing you want should be at the top of your list. Second, don't settle on a home whether you've been on the house hunt for days or weeks or months. Experts say you should never buy a home you don't love. Next, you'll want to think long-term. A condo or a townhouse may sound nice at the moment, but may not fit your lifestyle a few years down the line. It's also important to look at the value and if it will be easy to sell when you're ready to move again. Finally, figure out your must-haves. Experts encourage buyers to bring a list of things they need in their home. Whether it's a big kitchen or a 2-car garage, that list is important.
For me, it would be a big closet. But experts also say you should ask a lot of questions.
Need a yard so I can get a big dog.
There you go.
And I need someone else to cover the closing costs. And then we're good. That's it.
Yeah, the next one, no problem.
Just right down the checklist.
Yes, no problem.
5:12, 74 degrees out.
And Amazon is getting ready for its annual Prime Day with some big deals.
That's right. Plus, if you live near an Apple store, why your device orders may soon start arriving a lot quicker than before. We'll
So what's going
going on?
I'm a talking dog.
The other issue?
Oh, I'm scratching like crazy.
You've got some allergic itch with skin inflammation. Apoquel can work on that itch in as little as 4 hours, whether it's a new or chronic problem. And Apoquel's treated over 8 million dogs.
Nice. And the talking dog thing?
Is it bothering you?
No, itching like a dog is bothering me.
Until dogs can speak for themselves, you have to. When allergic itch is a problem, ask for Apoquel. Apoquel is for the control of itch associated with allergic dermatitis and the control of atopic dermatitis in dogs. Do not use Apoquel in dogs less than 12 months old or those with serious infections. Apoquel may increase the chance of developing serious infections and may cause existing parasitic skin infestations or pre-existing cancers to worsen. Do not use in breeding, pregnant, or lactating dogs. Most common side effects are vomiting and diarrhea. Feeling better?
I'm speechless. Thanks for the Apoquel.
Aw, that's what friends are for. Ask your veterinarian for Apoquel. Next to you, Apoquel is a dog's best friend.
Good morning, welcome back, and happy Monday. Amazon's Prime Day less than 24 hours away. Now, though, other retailers are scrambling to compete with Amazon with deals of their own. ABC's Mona Kosar Abdi has details in today's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, the holiday sales battle already underway. Amazon's Prime Day starts at 3 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. The biggest discounts will be for Amazon products like the Fire tablet and Alexa. But there's also $50 off Apple's AirPods and $30 off a new iPad. As for the other retailers, Target has a Deal Days event, while Best Buy is already starting its Black Friday sales. And Walmart's Big Save event runs now through Thursday. Among the biggest deals, a 50-inch smart TV for $218. And Apple has a plan to get products to you faster. According to Bloomberg, the company is using its retail outlets as distribution centers. The goal is to speed up deliveries to customers who live within 100 miles of an Apple store. Apple will choose the delivery option. Hopefully, it's a same-day delivery option. Those are your Tech Bites. Have a great day.
Well, there you go. Faster deliveries.
That is good news for iPhone users.
There you go. All right. Time now, 5:17, 74 degrees out. Quiet on the roads. We saw all green on the screen earlier. Still that way?
So far, no issues out there, Max and Stephanie, as we take a look at Traffic Guide once again. 604 at Old Houseman, no problems there. Let's move over here. 410 at Northwest Military Highway. You can see traffic moving along fairly well with no problems there. 281 at Winding Way.
Thank you, Marcus. Now, before, in the last check-in, Mike, your button popped off, hitting the gym too much. You were able to put that back on real fast. Jack of all trades over there.
Young gentlemen, you have to learn how to sew buttons on. If you are in college early on, yeah, it is quite helpful that if you pop a button, you got to get it popped on there. So that's one little thing that you can learn, gentlemen. So, hey, beautiful picture. This was sunset, obviously, Friday evening. Mr. Childers always provides great-looking pictures. I love that. Thank you very much for the KSAT Connect shot. We don't have really much of any clouds out there right now. We will see, though, some develop, and that's going to be around the first portion of the day. Here's the water vapor imagery. This looks at the moisture upstairs in the atmosphere, and as you can see, we do have some around. This kind of darker, or this lighter shade of gray, I should say, but also a couple different things that are going on. Obviously, the cloud or the moisture loft here is a little bit dominant, but watch right here, that little line with that dry air. It's kind of hard to see. And it's right about there that moves in, kind of sliding underneath it. That's the front, which is going to be moving on down here. It is pulling in drier air up in the northern portion of the state, and also some windier conditions. Now, we do have a lot of humidity as of right now. Dew points are well up in the upper 60s and 70s, but see what happens by early afternoon as that front moves on through here. Here comes the drier air. The wind shifts around. It's going to be breezy today, about say 15, 20 mile per hour winds, and then gusting, especially in portions of the hill country, gusting about 30, 35 miles per hour. And that drier air will continue to filter in tonight and then also tomorrow. So that's going to then allow temperatures to really drop down. Much more comfortable tomorrow. We'll still be on the warm side, though, today as well as tomorrow and Wednesday, first part of the day on Thursday. Dew points will come back up by Wednesday, Thursday, then that next front moves on through here about, say, midday on Thursday. That's really going to pull in some drier air and much cooler air. So even though, yes, we are going to be cooler than yesterday being a record-setting 97 degrees, but by Thursday and the rest of the week, we're going to be down probably in the low 70s, it looks like, for a high temperature on Thursday, and then right around 50 even to start off on Saturday morning. So here's a satellite picture, and not anything is really showing up that much, but like I said, we'll see some of these low clouds developing in the next couple of hours. And around the country, we're still not seeing anything other than some snow out there in the higher elevations of the Rockies, but we're not seeing these clouds like just diving down here from Canada. So we don't have that big, huge, I keep referring to the front that moved through a couple of weeks ago when that was a doozy of a front that came on in here. But we will see those cooler temperatures coming on in here once we get into, especially, like I said, Thursday, and then for the first part of the weekend. 85 degrees today at noon, partly cloudy skies, and then a high temperature today of 90. Again, not as hot as yesterday, still well above normal by a good 7-8 degrees, and it is going to be windy today. We're going to have winds out of the north about 15-20 miles per hour, gusting especially in the hill country. Then tomorrow, a little more pleasant in the morning, down closer to normal, 64, 62 on Wednesday morning. Temperatures will still be in the upper 80s and low 90s. Actually, it'll warm up on Wednesday, preceding that front. And then look at that, 72 on Friday, 50 starting off on Saturday.
All right, we talked about it a little bit this weekend. It's too hot for the pumpkin spice lattes, Mike. We know you're a big fan.
You need iced
Yeah, just chill
There you go. Is that the trick?
It's still fall.
I guess. I mean,
not a pumpkin spice guy?
I like pumpkin spice and pumpkin pie.
Okay, I love pumpkin pie. People sleep
yeah.
on pumpkin pie.
Yeah. We like it for other people. We like that it's out there.
There
We
you
like
go.
fall, but we just don't drink it.
There you go. All right, well, either way, you can get a warm one this Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Pumpkin pie with whipped cream, too.
Ooh,
That
what about
sounds
ice
good.
cream?
On pecan pie.
Ooh,
Yeah.
the man over here. 521, 74 degrees out.
And still ahead, fans of video game soccer simulations can celebrate again with the release of FIFA 21. We're going to have a preview next.
Time to look at those Lotto numbers. Pick 3, 5, 2, 6, Fireball 0, Daily 4, 3, 4, 1, 9, Fireball 3.
Cash 5, 18, 24, 26, 34, 35. Lotto Texas. Oh my goodness. Quit talking about food. My stomach's growling. Lotto Texas 2, 7, 23, 38, 51, 53. And your Powerball numbers 5, 18, 23, 40, 50, Powerball 18, Power Play 3. Good luck.
EA Sports blows the whistle on its new soccer season with FIFA 21. Whether you call it soccer or football, FIFA 21 features more than a few new features on its virtual pitch. Among these are a new dribbling system to give players greater creativity during one-on-one matchups.
Or do it in style with the new skill moves, like the bridge dribble and the ball roll fake.
Other new offensive elements include directed runs, directed pass and go, and a player lock feature to keep control on a specific player when attacking on goal.
FIFA 21 also smooths out those defense v attack free-for-alls.
EA Sports has gone back to the drawing board for its character collision system. Looking at this comparison between FIFA 21 and last year's version, you can see the improvements to how on-field players interact. The game was developed for the current generation of consoles, but there are plans to release FIFA 21 on the forthcoming Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 consoles, with more details on those versions to come. Leveling Up in Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
It really is so amazing how real life these video games look now.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And what I forgot about this, I forgot how much I like the music.
Oh yeah, soundtracks are the best part.
Right? Well, my husband will be playing it. I'm like, oh, this is great. Yeah. I know, it's the little things.
It is, but it makes it worth it. 526, 74 degrees out.
And still ahead in our next half hour, President Donald Trump hitting the campaign trail once again as he claims he's not only COVID-free, but immune to the virus.
Plus, with early voting starting up tomorrow, we're going to take a close look at how the election will look a little bit different this year.
And how health experts say you can better support your growing teenager as they start to mature during the pandemic.
Good morning, welcome back, and happy Monday. It is October 12th. Thank you so much for starting your day with us.
Happy Monday. Thanks for joining us. I think we're excited because we know this hot weekend we had is in the past.
That's true, but I think we're still going to see some heat today.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah, it won't be, let's glass half full. It won't be as hot as yesterday. Yesterday was 97, of course, set a new record, the old record being 96. And then on Saturday, 97, but we missed the record just by 1 degree. And no, today will not be as hot. It's still going to be way above normal like we are starting off as of right now. We are at 74 degrees. That's anywhere from 10 to 15 degrees above normal. And that's what's making all the difference out there. That dew point is at 71. And actually, dew points did stay up a little bit higher than expected yesterday, and that's one of the reasons why we stayed at 97, didn't get any hotter than that, because it takes a lot more energy to heat up the moisture than it does the dryer, because we were flirting with not only the daily record high temperature, but the October monthly record high, and then also there was the outside chance we could have hit triple digits, which some folks did yesterday, but officially out there at the airport, which would have been the latest 100-degree reading, but we didn't get all of those. Now, with these dew points in the 70s, the nice thing then this afternoon, these numbers will drop dramatically, so even though we'll still be up around 90 today, it's going to feel much more comfortable. Mold and ragweed are both on the low side right now, and very humid. I mean, you're going to notice it when you step outside this morning. Whole different story than yesterday morning, which was not bad. But again, mostly sunny. It's going to be windy as well, with the front moving through about noon today. Drier, 90 for a high temperature. And then still warm the next few days, up around 90, give or take. Then another front, second front's going to move through. That's going to bring fall back in here for the end of the week. Details in just a couple of minutes. Time saver traffic right now. Here's Officer Marcus Trujillo.
Well, thank you, Mike. And folks, taking a look at the roadways, we're still looking great out there this morning. As you can see the map, no incidents out there. Let's take a look at 35 at Ritterman. North and southbound lanes right now still running great. Just don't forget, put away those distractions. So cell phones, those coffee cups, and make sure you buckle up once you head out today. Stephanie?
Thank you, Marcus. The time to have your say in this year's presidential election is almost here. Early voting in Texas starts tomorrow. Our Katrina Weber is live near downtown with more on what you need to know before heading to the polls. Now, Katrina, we understand this time around we have more time to cast our ballots.
That's right. That's due to the number of registered voters that we have, the large number of registered voters. The governor passed a proclamation extending the number of days that we have for early voting. In Barrett County alone, there are about 125,000 more registered voters than we saw during the 2016 presidential election. Now, the polls open for early voting at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. They will be open until 6 every night this week. However, as we get closer to Election Day, there will be some extended hours until 10 o'clock some nights. And there also are weekend hours as well. Now, remember that you can cast your ballot at any location in your county throughout this early voting period. And if you're worried about social distancing, keep in mind that the AT&T Center will be open for voting and will offer plenty of space for that. Now, if you have any questions about where to go or whether you're actually registered to vote, you can contact the elections office either through the website or by phone. Here in Barrett County, the number to call is 210-335-VOTE or 335-8683. Reporting live near downtown, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Katrina. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump set to return to the campaign trail today, and now he's claiming he is immune to COVID-19 after testing negative.
But as CNN's Reed Binion reports, his COVID-19 status isn't entirely clear.
I'm going to be out in Florida tomorrow working very hard.
President Donald Trump speaking Sunday about his plan to return to the campaign trail Monday for the first time since his coronavirus diagnosis.
Because this is an election we have to win. This is the most important election of our lives.
The president claiming he's now entirely free of coronavirus after struggling with COVID-19.
I've been tested totally negative.
But that's not exactly what the president's doctors said. White House physician Sean Coney issued a statement saying Trump was, quote, no longer considered a transmission risk to others. But he didn't say the president tested negative. Trump also said he is now immune to the virus.
I beat this crazy, horrible China virus, and it also gives you immunity. I mean, it does give you immunity.
Trump doubling down on his claim of immunity on social media, writing, quote, a total and complete sign-off from White House doctors yesterday. That means I can't get it, immune, and can't give it. Very nice to know. There is no evidence people who have contracted COVID-19 are immune. Twitter added a warning label to the tweet saying it violated their rules about spreading misleading and possibly harmful information about the virus. I'm Reed Binion reporting.
People in Denver say they are holding a man who was hired as a private security guard in connection to a deadly shooting during protests this weekend. Matthew Doloff was working for a local TV news station at the time, but according to a spokesperson for the city of Denver's Department of Excise and Licensing, Doloff was in fact not licensed to be a security guard, despite being identified as one by the TV news station. Early in the homicide investigation, police said that there was a verbal altercation before shots were fired. Doloff now being held for investigation of first-degree murder. Police also detained a news producer, but eventually let that person go.
And die-hard travelers in Australia are embarking on their next adventure. Qantas Airlines' 7-hour flight from Sydney to Sydney took off this weekend. The so-called flight to nowhere sold out within 10 minutes last month. Passengers on board got a bird's eye view of some of Australia's iconic sites like Uluru and the Great Barrier Reef. Middle seats were left empty so passengers could social distance. The experience is designed to be a morale boost for travelers yearning to fly again. It's also for the airline, which posted a nearly $1.5 billion loss earlier this year because of the pandemic.
Would you do it?
I mean, I'd like to support our airlines, but no.
Well said, Stephanie. Well said.
Not right now. Maybe I'll make a small donation.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I would need to see the price.
You really? Yeah.
I would need to see the price.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm surprised. I actually don't like flying. If I can avoid it, I will. I mean, we have to.
Right.
Wow, okay. I mean, some people like it, I guess.
To nowhere.
The flight to nowhere.
Sounds like a horror film.
It does. See? No, thank you.
Time now, 5:36, 74 degrees out.
And still ahead, a closer look how virtual schooling can offer kids a break from social pressure.
And next, what you can expect to see at the polls this election season and how polling locations have changed right here in Barrett County because of this pandemic.
And taking a look out with live cam, 74 degrees, a little humid, but I'm already looking forward to the upcoming weekend because I'm hearing about better temperatures than we had this past weekend. But hey, we're going to have a great week and we're going to check in with Mike in just a bit.
Good morning, welcome back, and happy Monday. Early voting this November election starts tomorrow, and things are going to be a little bit different this year.
Yeah, they will be. Voting during a pandemic is a topic of this week's episode of KSAT Explains, and we'll have Myra Arthur with a preview.
Taking place amid a pandemic, this election day will be unlike any other.
The election this year is critical because it would impact our lives for years to come.
The road to the election has been full of roadblocks and detours, especially for those preparing to make Election Day happen, not only during the time of COVID, but in a volatile political climate.
The hurdles have been they're popping up no matter where we go.
Some have been hard at work for months to encourage voter participation.
We're very hopeful for what will maybe be a historic turnout here in Barrett County.
Vote every single time there's an election. Make sure you're voting. Make sure you are using this, to bring safety to yourselves, your communities, your loved ones, and your city.
And a lot of people in Barrett County are eager to cast their ballots despite the unique circumstances of 2020.
This is what I've been presented to on a big silver platter: a pandemic, racial injustice, and a crazy election.
In this episode, we explain what you can expect to see at the polls, how polling locations have changed in Barrett County, and why this is a year that has some people more eager than ever to get involved in the political process. KSAT Explains, voting during a pandemic.
And important to mention, if you guys have any questions about voting, we have all those answers right now. Just head to ksat.com.
And time now is 5:42 and 74 degrees.
Physical changes and cracking voices, as awkward as they may be, but not bad when it's in the comfort of your own home. Just ahead, why experts say puberty in a pandemic might be a good thing. Good morning, welcome back, and happy Monday. Kids grow up no matter what happens out in the world. And when it comes to sensitive topics like puberty, some teens might feel a sense of relief knowing that they don't have to go through this awkward stage in front of their peers.
And here are some things to keep in mind as you support your adolescent.
Puberty in a pandemic might be scary for parents, but virtual schooling can offer kids a break from social pressure. According to psychologist Lisa Demore, the idea of a single encounter that puts all of puberty on the table is the wrong place to start. She says their curiosity changes over the years. Instead, invite your child to ask questions when they feel comfortable. If you are not comfortable with the topic as a parent, books can be a big help. So pick up a book with expert advice and let your kids read about it on their own. Another way you can weather the stress of puberty, remind your child of the basic ways to take care of themselves. Also, getting lots of sleep, being physically active, eating well, and finding happy distractions will help give them a mental vacation from the pandemic. For many kids, an important part of well-being is spending time with their friends, even if it takes some time to arrange pandemic-safe meetings. Demore says it's important to follow kids' cues on how much social contact they need.
And even with extra help from parents, lots of that social contact will be online. And while connecting to peers through social media might feel like a shift in mindset for some parents, it's what works best for some of the kids out there. So that's good news, I guess.
Absolutely.
And in your morning consumer headlines, the coronavirus pandemic may have forever changed how we shop. A research firm has estimated a U.S. e-commerce sales would increase to $710 billion this year. Globally, online sales are expected to rise more than 16% to nearly $4 trillion. Retailers with a large online presence like Amazon and Walmart are doing well, while others that rely heavily on mall sales or haven't fully adapted to online shopping are facing extinction. Experts say the longer the pandemic goes on, it's more likely customers will stick to their new shopping habits, such as curbside, pickup, and home deliveries.
And it is October. That means just in time for Halloween. Halloween in the era of COVID, changing for a lot of people. And Austin's Halloween by Design Bash is no exception. This year, they're heading to the drive-in for socially distanced celebration. Now, organizers say it'll be a festival-style event complete with over-the-top decorations, amazing food, and of course, some family-friendly spooky movies. Each year, this event raises thousands for the area's nonprofits. All right, what is your go-to Halloween candy?
Oh, the candy?
Yeah, your favorite Halloween candy.
Hershey's.
Just plain Hershey's?
Yeah,
oh, that's
I'm
fair.
kind of boring.
Officer Trujillo, what about you? What's your go-to Halloween candy?
My go-to? Anything chocolate except Butterfingers.
Ah, good call. What about you, Max?
I'm going to go Reese's.
Really?
Yeah,
You're just
Reese's
like,
Cups.
You're just like Rooney, my
Twix.
Twix
There we go.
for
Twix.
Mike. I'll take that too.
And anything dark chocolate. I'm in on dark
Oh,
chocolate.
of course.
Yeah.
But you usually don't see that in the trick-or-treating options.
That's fair.
Yeah, we're not exactly helping the parents right now.
Mom, I want dark chocolate now.
Right. Dark chocolate for breakfast. Right now, as we take a look at the roadways, 35 here at Cesar Chavez. Do have a solid vehicle there off to the side, so don't forget that's going to be off in the shoulder, that left-hand shoulder in the breakdown lane. Other areas are not too bad. Let's take a look here. 604 at Military. So far, no increases on the traffic way out there on the outer loop. And then 410 at Northwest Military Highway. So far, things look pretty good there.
All right, pretty good. And looks like it's a morning with AC. Need a lot of AC in the car this morning.
Yeah, and even this afternoon, but it is going to be a lot more present. There was one house in my neighborhood when I was growing up, gave out full-sized boxes of Cracker Jack.
Yes.
And you knew every year you had to hit that house.
I remember we had a neighbor like that as well. Yeah.
I mean, not just a little sample. It was great.
And it had a treat, a surprise in the box.
I know, but the
Great.
full, yes. Anyway, and then you got to raid your kids. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. No better way. Saturday, the weekend mornings this past weekend, they were fantastic. What a beautiful picture. Thank you, Mr. Olson, for that KSAT Connect picture. Yeah, yesterday was fairly pleasant. Saturday was fairly pleasant outside. This morning, no, it's a whole different story because the humidity is really back, and you can almost, and in different vantage points, you can see a few clouds out there. Now, forecast today, we're still looking at some upper 80s and low to mid 90s. So we're still going to be about, well, anywhere from 5 to 10 degrees above normal. So even with these 90s, though, now this computer model, which is factoring in these heat index readings, has us staying, I'm going for 90. This one has us staying in the upper 80s, but still the heat index is below the air temperature later on today because the air is going to dry out so well. So if you're in the shade today, it's going to feel very, very pleasant. And it's the type of thing, if you were to be in a pool and hop out, you'd actually be very cold because the air is so dry and the water would evaporate so efficiently off of your body. So it will be a very comfortable day, even though it's still going to be on the hot side. We do have a front now. Right now, dew point temperatures are way up there, but that front's going to move through, and by mid-afternoon, it is going to be through the area. It's going to come through about noon, give or take, obviously. The wind will shift around. It's going to be very breezy today, especially in the hill country. We'll see winds gusting about 30, 35 miles per hour. And enjoy the dry air for right now, because the humidity is going to come back up a little bit then for Wednesday and Thursday, probably during the afternoon tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday. Then another front's going to move on through. So here's the computer model looking at clouds and precipitation. So we get the wind shift coming through today, nothing going on, nothing really the next couple of days, maybe a stray cloud here or there. But notice how the winds start to shift back around on Wednesday, and Wednesday is going to be a pretty hot day, back up into the low 90s, and which means mid and maybe even some upper 90s around the area. Then on Thursday and into Friday, the next front's going to move on through here. That will have a couple of clouds around with it, but it's going to be still so dry around here that we're not really going to see anything from that front. But that will come on through, and that's going to be the next front. That's going to bring in some nice fall weather for later Thursday, and then especially Friday and going into the weekend. So today, 85 degrees at noon, partly cloudy skies, and we've got all these morning clouds hanging around here. They may be a little stubborn at times. Then 90 for a high temperature today, which is still anywhere from, say, 6, 10 degrees above normal, depending on where you are, and obviously not anywhere near as hot as yesterday's 97. Then tomorrow we get down to 64 degrees, a little closer to normal, 62 on Wednesday. Beautiful, but still pretty warm in the afternoons. The front is going to move through. It looks like about middle of the afternoon on Thursday, so we'll still be kind of hot. And then that'll bring in the cooler air. So I'm looking at 72 on Friday, starting off at 50 on Saturday.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
But today I see breezy, so I need to take my very light decorative pumpkins inside.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, especially in the, I mean, we're looking at maybe 20, 25 mile per hour winds here in town, but in the hill country, 30, 35 miles per hour. So
good to be aware of.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. 5:53, 74 degrees out.
And after a solid month on top, Tenet is no longer the #1 movie at the box office. A look at what gave it a run for its money next.
Good morning. Coming up here on GMA, a big day on Capitol Hill. The confirmation hearing for Amy Coney Barrett set to get underway this morning. What you can expect in the Supreme Court showdown. All of that coming up right here on GMA.
Come on, man. Like Russell Crowe's character, Unhinged just won't go away. The action thriller, which opened in August, took 5th place with $660,000.
You're not alone. Not anymore. Do you know what mutants are?
The New Mutants fell to 4th place, earning $685,000.
It's Halloween Eve, and they're back.
We're home.
After challenging Tenet for the top spot last weekend, Hocus Pocus dropped to #3, scaring up $1.2 million.
All I have for you is a word.
Tenet made another $2.1 million for a domestic total of more than $48 million. Not enough to keep the box office crown.
She gave me my grandson's room. He's not too happy about it.
How do you like your room?
Kid looking. I didn't want it to be this way either.
The family comedy The War with Grandpa, starring Robert De Niro as a senior who moves into his grandson's bedroom, debuted on top, launching with $3.6 million. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
And we have much more coming up after the break. Non-traditional or freelance jobs can give you more freedom and flexibility, but there are some downsides that can cost you. Still ahead in our next half hour of GMSA, we're going to run down the things you need to know before venturing out and starting your own business. And taking a live look out at the roadways, it has been all green on the screen so far this morning. We're going to check in with Officer Trujillo. Make sure you get what you need to know before you get going.
Not all communities in San Antonio have equal access to a park, and it's more noticeable during the pandemic. We're going to see how it impacts communities of color around the city.
And President Donald Trump back on the campaign trail today, cleared from the coronavirus, but now he has claims that's drawing criticism from top medical officials.
And taking a look out with live cam this morning, it is 74 degrees, it is humid, but like it says right there, will the heat stick around? Well, we hope not. We're gonna check in with Mike right now.
Live from KSAT 12, Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Good morning, welcome back, and happy Monday. It is October 12th.
Happy Monday. Thanks for joining us. Hope you guys had a great weekend. I did. It just got a little hot, but
You went to the corn maze. You had the whole fall festivity going on.
Yeah, it was neat. It got very warm, and so after a while, and we made it out.
Made it out. There you go.
But
horror film avoided.
Yeah, of course. But we were ready. We were ready to go. We were ready to go by the time we made it out.
Yeah. So it was record-breaking heat this weekend.
Both days, 97 degrees, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday was just shy of the record. Yesterday, beat it by 1 degree. Good news is we have 2 fronts moving on through this week. It won't be as hot as today, but it's still going to be hot.
Okay.
But not as hot as it. So we'll go glass half full right now. And as you saw that one live cam picture, looking at downtown, you can sort of see some of the humidity out there. And we do have some clouds hanging around as well. 74 degrees right now. So we are on average 10 to 15 degrees above normal. Should be here in town in the low 60s right now. 68 is 69 in Rio Medina, the only 2 numbers that are down in the 60s. And we've got all this humidity. So you're definitely going to feel it when you step outside. But this is going to change because the first front that moves on through here later on today. Now, we do have light amounts of mold as well as ragweed. The timing of it's going to be about late morning or noon. Right now, we stay pretty steady throughout the rest of the morning because the cloud cover and humidity won't let us drop down that much further. So we will make it up into roughly the mid 80s at noon, and the wind will then start to shift around. It's going to be breezy later on today. We are going to be up to 90 again today, but we'll have, like I said, much drier air coming on in here, and still going to be hot the next couple of days, but then the next front is going to bring fall back into the picture. So that's going to be nice, but we got to wait a few days to have it feel actually like fall. Details coming up in just a couple of minutes. Time saver traffic right now. Officer Marcus Trujillo, and hadn't been much going on today so far.
So far things look great. So great start to the morning, especially for a Monday morning for those folks that are dreading going back to work. But so far, nothing on the roadways that should slow you down this morning. Take a look. 21 at Hildebrand. North and southbound lanes there around the curve, running smoothly. Dry roads. Just remember, watch that speed once you head out today. Max?
Thank you, Marcus. Although today is Columbus Day nationally, the state of Texas does not observe it. Instead, today is Indigenous Peoples Day here in San Antonio and in Houston, and here in the Alamo City. Activists are planning a downtown march supporting human rights and indigenous dignity. Marchers will gather at Columbus Park at 2 this afternoon, and this all comes after the city took down a statue of Christopher Columbus. Activists had called for the removal because of Columbus's history of slavery and oppression of the indigenous people.
Early voting starts tomorrow in Barrett County. Nearly 50 locations around the county will operate as early voting poll locations. That includes the AT&T Center, which will be a mega voting site to help people socially distance themselves. Early voting locations will be open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Mondays through Saturdays, and from noon to 6 on Sundays, from October 26th to the 30th. Now, every location will stay open until 10 at night. You can find out more information on early voting right now on KSAT.com. Just head to the Vote 2020 page.
Now to the latest on the pandemic. Local health officials reporting 90 new cases of COVID-19 here in Barrett County. That brings the 7-day average to 156 cases per weekday. Now, the Metro Health reports no new deaths, but there is a backlog of 27 deaths that were added to the overall total. Currently, 192 people in the hospital, 81 in the ICU, 39 are on ventilators. Mayor Ron Nirenberg and County Judge Nelson Wolf set to give another update this evening during their daily briefing.
The pandemic is shedding some light on park inequities and who has access to them. Studies have shown that parks provide health, environmental, and social benefits. And during the pandemic, parks provided a crucial role as a place where families could spend time away from home. Local health experts point out that communities of color often do not have easy access to local park in San Antonio. And the director of San Antonio's Parks and Rec Department, saying the city needs to increase the percentage of people who live within a 10-minute walk from a park. You can read more about the city plans and how they plan to do that right now on KSAT.com.
And nationally, President Donald Trump heading back to the campaign trail today. His personal doctor says the president is no longer a risk of spreading COVID-19.
But the president is making a different claim, going one step further. It all comes as Dr. Anthony Fauci accuses the president's campaign of taking his words out of context during a new campaign ad. ABC's Mona Kassar-Abdi has the latest.
This morning, President Trump preparing to return to the campaign trail just days after leaving the hospital.
It looks like I'm immune for, I don't know, maybe a long time, or maybe a short time. It could be a lifetime. Nobody really knows, but I'm immune.
Kicking off a jam-packed week of back-to-back rallies after his doctor announced the president is no longer at risk of spreading COVID. But during a call with supporters Sunday, the president claimed he's not only COVID-free, but immune to the virus. The president is also touting the experimental treatment, which he credits for his recovery.
We want to get it brought into the hospitals because I really believe it's a transfusion. I really believe that it will solve the problems of a lot of people.
But despite promising results for drugs like remdesivir and Regeneron's antibody cocktail, both of which were part of Trump's treatment, the CEO of Regeneron is now warning the company only has enough doses to treat 50,000 patients.
We have to figure out ways to ration this.
The president is eager to get back on the campaign trail with his poll numbers slipping. When it comes to handling the pandemic, our poll shows voters now trust Joe Biden over Trump by 12 points.
America deserves a president who understands what people are going through.
And now the president's campaign facing new questions.
President Trump tackled the virus head on.
ABC News confirming Dr. Anthony Fauci did not consent to this new ad, in which he's heard apparently praising the president's response to the pandemic.
I can't imagine that anybody could be doing more.
Fauci writing in a statement, quote, "I have never publicly endorsed any political candidate. The comments attributed to me without my permission in the GOP campaign were taken out of context." The Trump campaign says it plans to keep airing the ad, saying the doctor has praised the president's work in the past. One of those topics of praise, the administration's decision to restrict travel during the pandemic. But this morning, the administration is repeatedly in talks with some airlines to fast-track some international travel. The talks coming even as new infections in the UK have doubled in the last week. Pubs and restaurants in some areas now facing tighter restrictions. Mona Kassar-Abdi, ABC News, New York.
And sticking with your morning headlines, confirmation hearings for Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett scheduled to happen later this morning. The Senate quickly moving ahead with the confirmation hearing after President Donald Trump nominated Judge Barrett just 2 weeks ago. If confirmed, it would cement a conservative majority on the Supreme Court. Meanwhile, 2 Republican senators on the Judicial Committee have tested positive for COVID-19. We're going to have much more information on these hearings in our next half hour of GMSA. Time now 6:08, 74 degrees out.
And the Dallas Cowboys will likely be without quarterback Dak Prescott for a while. We're going to have an update on his ankle injury and surgery. Oh, no.
Real estate said to be one of the best investments a person can make. 2020, a great year for sellers. After the break, we have what millennials need to consider if they are first-time homebuyers.
Poor Dak.
You know what?
I'm still.
You can overcome obstacles. He'll be better. He'll be back.
Yes.
He'll be stronger because of it.
It's true. Just very painful. Taking a look out with live cam, it's 74 degrees. We'll be right back.
KSAT 12 presents another Day of the Dead story.
Calaveras aren't just the painted skulls you see every year. Calaveras can be written, and they are humorous and a poetic Day of the Dead tradition.
A calavera is written about someone who's still alive. To poke fun or to bring somebody down in the form of a pun or satirical piece of poetry. And it is usually written about someone who's prominent either in politics, in sports, in entertainment. Generally, they all die in the calavera. Not in reality, but figuratively. Calaveras are not written about people who are already dead, and that's because a person cannot defend themselves. It's cowardly, I think, to make fun of someone who has already died. So to write a good calavera, you strip that person down to the very essence. You pick out that quality that you either like or dislike, and then you write it in a form that makes fun of it and that makes that person come alive for you and I.
And welcome back at 6:13. The housing market in 2020 has been great, especially if you're selling your home.
That's right. But those who are starting their home buying experience might not even know where to start.
This morning we have some tips for millennial home buyers.
Last year, realtors say millennials accounted for 37% of all buyers, making them the most active generation of buyers for the 6th consecutive year. And while some are already ahead of the game, others may just be starting their home buying experience. But before you jump right in, there are some things to consider. First, you'll want to get your finances together before making the big purchase. Realtors say finding out which type of financing you want should be at the top of your list. Second, don't settle on a home whether you've been on the house hunt for days or weeks or months. Experts say you should never buy a home you don't love. Next, you'll want to think long-term. A condo or a townhouse may sound nice at the moment, but may not fit your lifestyle a few years down the line. It's also important to look at the value and if it will be easy to sell when you're ready to move again. Finally, figure out your must-haves. Experts encourage buyers to bring a list of things they need in their home. Whether it's a big kitchen or a 2-car garage, that list is important.
And earlier, Max and I were talking about our must-haves. I said mine is a big closet, and yours, what, nice backyard?
Free closing costs. That was That was it.
And that, which is no problem, of course.
Yeah.
And experts also say you should ask a lot of questions.
All right, time now, 6:15, 74 degrees out. It has been smooth sailing out there on the roadways. How are we looking out there?
It has, and so far things are still looking great out there. This is the map. As you can see, no incidents out there to slow you down. So that's the great news right now. We're starting to see some increases in the traffic here and there, but really not enough that should slow you down. It's about to be expected for this time of the morning. We're starting to see some increases there along I-10, also along 35, and not to be left out, 1604 at Kyle Seal, also seeing some increases in both directions, but more specifically on those eastbound main lanes.
Not to be left out, like our own Mike Osterhage.
No.
Mike, we would never leave you out. I love this triple box. I'm still getting used to it. It's a Brady Bunch.
Do you like the Brady Bunch thing?
Yeah, it's fun.
It's hard for us because Mike,
Well,
you're
if I
over
look
here.
this way?
See, if I look at you, then we got to do it over there, and then
we'll just look at you on the screen.
I have to go. So, Max, how's
High
it
five,
going?
Max.
But I can't see you on that monitor. You
Yeah.
know, these are, the things we deal with
almost had
and there's Marcus. All right, it was very, very hot over the weekend, although we did have a pleasant morning yesterday. It was pretty nice. This morning is a whole different situation, though, and temperatures are 73 degrees. The normal low is in the low 60s right now, so on average, obviously 10, 15 degrees above normal, and we got a bunch of humidity out there. It will not be as hot as yesterday. Yesterday was 97, set the new record, so we'll be at 90. We're still about 7 degrees above normal, and it's still going to stay hot the next couple of days. But then we do have a second front moving through. So a first front comes through today, then a second front later on in the week. Take a look at this picture. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful picture. I love this one. Perfect wedding sunset. Congratulations, David and Callie. Yes. Oh, that's pretty. Beautiful. Thank you very much for the KSAT Connect picture and many, many years of happiness together to the new couple. So here's what it looks like on live cam right now. And there's not anything, no visibility problems out there, anything. We do have some clouds, so you can almost kind of see a few of them if you squint just a little bit there. All right, as far as temperatures this week, it is going to be kind of an above and below type situation. Like I said, yesterday started off at 97, or the week started off at 97. Today, 90, and all the way through Thursday, we're going to be above normal. Normal high is 83 degrees. Then we get into the latter part of the week and we drop down below normal by roughly 20 degrees compared to yesterday, or compared to today, and about 25 degrees cooler than from yesterday to what we're going to be seeing on Friday. And these high temperatures will stay in the 70s going through the weekend. And actually, by Saturday morning, we're going to be starting off right around 50 degrees. It's going to be darn right chilly out there, which then usually rule of thumb, about 10 degrees cooler in the hill country. So we're looking at maybe some low 40s in parts of the hill country. So again, yesterday's high temperatures, we had a lot of triple digits and mid to upper 90s around here. That was a new record high, but that's it as far as those temperatures. Now, as far as dew points are concerned, we're about 10 degrees warmer than what it was yesterday with the dew point, 20 degrees above what it was yesterday in Hondo. So the humidity really came back in here, but that humidity is going to be going away by about noon, early afternoon when the front moves on through. Here comes the drier air. That slides on in. So that's going to make for a very nice afternoon. Even though it will be 90, it's going to be a much more comfortable 90 degrees. In the shade, it'll be very pleasant, and we'll have a nice, pleasant morning tomorrow, even though the humidity is going to start to creep up just a little bit. But then the next front's going to move through later on in the week. All right, we had obviously big news in the tropics last week. Nothing out there right now. One little spot that the Hurricane Center is kind of keeping an eye on, but doesn't really have much of a chance of developing in the next at least couple of days, but worth watching. And obviously we still have the tropical season that goes on through the end of November. Here's what the upper level winds look like. So we've got the first little front that's going to move through here today. Enough to trim the humidity, basically, and trim temperatures down somewhat. Then we'll be still in somewhat of a kind of a zonal air pattern. So that's going to keep temperatures a little on the warmer side. Then the next front is going to be coming through here, and that'll be on Thursday. And we see a much more pronounced kind of roller coaster in the upper level steering winds. And so that pulls down that much, much cooler air then for Friday and then going into the weekend as well. The downside is still not a drop of rain in the forecast, short term or even long term. 85 degrees today at noon, partly cloudy skies. High temperature today gets up to 90, so we'll still be well above normal, but much drier air, much more pleasant, a lot lower than yesterday, of course. Then we get into the rest of the week, and we're still going to stay in the 90-degree range, give or take. Low temperatures will be more comfortable the next couple of mornings. Front moves through on Thursday, and it's going to be breezy on Thursday. That will pull down fall temperatures. 72 on Friday. I can smell the cool air now.
Real fall temperatures.
Real, yeah.
None of this 90s anymore.
Yeah, we're done with this
says it all,
past
Mike.
weekend.
Your face says it all.
Right, not now, not in October.
Right. There we go. All right, thank you, Mike. 620, 74 degrees out.
And coming up, the U.S. government teaming up with airline companies to reopen flights between London and New York City for the holidays by using rapid COVID-19 tests. We're going to have more in today's GMA First Look.
Here's your secret word of the day. Enter it on KSAT.com/Circle K for a monthly chance to win free gas for a year. Every entry wins a medium coffee. Win with Circle K and GMSA.
You put care into everything you do. United Healthcare does too. Like connecting you to care whenever you need it. Because like you, United Healthcare knows what care can do.
Each Febreze car vent clip gives you up to 30 days of fresh air. So you can have open window freshness, even with all the windows up. Enjoy fresh anytime with Febreze.
La 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 la. Hi, Sabrina.
Hi, Jen.
Hi, so you're the scientist here. Does my Aveeno Daily Moisturizer really make my dry skin healthier in one day?
It's true, Jen.
Really?
This prebiotic oat formula moisturizes to help prevent dry skin.
Impressive. Aveeno, healthy. It's our nature.
At Stanley Steamer, we believe that a clean space is the first step toward a better life. We're the ones you can trust, innovating, evolving, and growing with our customers for over 70 years. We want you to feel proud and safe in your space.
Stanley Steamer gets your home cleaner.
In this morning's GMA First Look, a push to reopen travel between New York and London, possibly before the holidays. Airline executives tell ABC News they're working with federal authorities on creating a so-called air bridge between the two cities, where travelers would be tested before flying.
It'll be a great way to open up the borders and begin to open the economies. I can't find one person here in D.C. or overseas that opposes it, but just getting it through the bureaucracy.
This as Tampa International Airport becomes the first in the nation to offer COVID tests to all travelers, no matter where they're going.
We've done about 80 people a day, and our peak day was about 140 people on one day.
So the big question is, which test should we be using? We'll help you understand what's available coming up at 7 a.m. With your GMA First Look, I'm Gio Benitez, ABC News, New York.
Pro football coverage powered by Davis Law
Firm. A long weekend of football. Dallas Cowboys got a win in the record book, but a big loss and a lot of questions going forward. Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott making a lot of headlines during the game against the Giants. First, it was excitement. Prescott catching his first NFL touchdown. Yeah, he caught it. He's a quarterback. Caught it. Trick play, and then there was anything but excitement. He is scrambling in the second half, then suffered an injury when he was tackled. The team says it was a compound fracture on his ankle. Backup quarterback Andy Dalton came in, finished out, and Cowboys ended up getting the big W, 37-34. There it is. Dak's brother, Tad, posted this picture on Twitter of Dak at the hospital. He says his brother will be back stronger than ever. ESPN says Dak is out of surgery, could miss 4 to 6 months. And that means Andy Dalton calling the shots for this foreseeable future. Next up for the Cowboys, the Arizona Cardinals. That is Sunday night in Arlington. And can't talk football without talking the Texans. Houston Texans getting their first W of the season, beating Jacksonville Jaguars. First game for the Texans this season after firing head coach Bill O'Brien. First win after getting rid of DeAndre Hopkins. Deshaun Watson, the star of the show, finishing 359 yards, 3 touchdowns. The defense tack on 4 sacks. Winning big, 30-14. Texans looking to get win number 2 this season against their divisional rival on Sunday, traveling to Tennessee, playing the Titans. But here's the thing, a lot of questions surrounding the Titans. We're going to see if this game actually goes on. The Titans are set to play the Bills tomorrow, Tuesday Night Football. Not really precedented, but we're going to see. A lot of the games have actually been canceled because of COVID-19, and it could impact this schedule this week. And the Titans so far have had 24 positive tests in just the last 3 weeks. And the talk of the sports world this morning, a new NBA champ has been crowned. The LA Lakers beating the Miami Heat in the finals, 106-93. Game 6, LeBron James, 4th NBA Finals MVP, scoring 40 points, 13 boards, Game 6. Meanwhile, it is the 17th championship in Lakers history, tying them for the Boston Celtics all time. We talked about this last hour.
Yes.
Technically, yes, it is their 17th championship, but 5 of them were won as the Minnesota Lakers, because, you know, there's Lakes, Minnesota.
Right, but they still won.
12 only in LA, but either way, congratulations, LeBron. Congratulations, Lakers fans. Congratulations, Danny Green.
Former San Antonio Spurs.
There you go.
Danny
also,
Green.
Congratulations to the NBA figuring out how to do the whole bubble thing. Exactly. No positive COVID tests.
Yeah, good for them.
There you go. All right, 6:28, 74 degrees out.
And hearings for Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett expected to begin today. We're going to hear from some U.S. senators on that process.
If you've got them, cast them. The time for early voting is just about here. Good morning, I'm Katrina Weber. I'll tell you more about what you need to know before heading to the polls tomorrow.
The Supreme Court confirmation hearing of Judge Amy Coney Barrett kicking off today. I'm Elizabeth Schulze. What to expect coming up.
And taking a live look out of the Alamo City, a humid start to your Monday morning. But don't worry, we have good news when it comes to the forecast. We're joined by our Mike Osterhage in just a few moments. Until then, good morning. It is Monday, October 12th. Thank you so much for starting your day with us.
Good morning. Rise and shine. Yep, time to get up. And it's a good Monday because we're looking forward to better temperatures.
It's a great Monday.
Yeah.
It's always, I love Mondays. Mike, what are your thoughts? I think Monday is my favorite day of the week.
But Monday's not Monday for you.
No, well, no, but it's
Monday's
Mondays that I get to see everyone.
Well, that's
true. I get to start my week. You're coming off the weekend refreshed.
I like Monday, but Friday's always the best.
Now, Friday's going to be, as far as temperatures and conditions, going to be much, much better. By the way, I apologize for, kind of screaming there when I saw that Dak Prescott video.
Look, it was bad. Prayers to him. Good luck going forward.
Yeah.
Anyway, a lot of humidity. We do have lots of clouds out there. And temperatures, there is nothing to be happy about this morning because we are at 74 degrees, anywhere from 10 to 15 degrees above normal right now. And the humidity has gone way up, about 10 degrees higher than what it was yesterday. Yesterday was kind of pleasant in the morning, but that's not the situation this morning. And temperatures all around the area are, well, we only have a couple of readings that are in the upper 60s. Otherwise, it's low to mid 70s. And all of this humidity Unfortunately, all of this came back in here with a vengeance overnight, but it's all going to be going away in about the next, say, 5-6 hours as a front moves through here, roughly late morning, noon, early afternoon, obviously sooner in the hill country. Mold and ragweed are both on the low side, and we've got obviously the very humid conditions right now. We'll still be up to 90 today, so still well above normal. Obviously nowhere near as hot as yesterday's record-setting 97. Much drier air. It's also going to be very windy, and then it's going to stay on the warm side through Thursday. Front comes through, and that will really feel like fall by Friday and the weekend. It's going to be downright chilly. Dare I use the word cold? Start off Saturday morning. Details coming up in just a couple of minutes. Time saver traffic right now. Officer Marcus Trujillo, and been very quiet on your end of the building.
It has. So far, things have been doing pretty well out there on the roadways. So as we take a closer look.
Tell me what you were doing.
Yeah, I kind of turned my ankle out. My imitation of the injury. Right now, as we take a look at the roadways, still no problems out there. Slight increases in the traffic there. Highway 90 there at 36th Street with that construction off on the access road, not on the main lanes. Max and Stephanie?
Thank you, Marcus. Early voting in Texas gets underway in a little more than 24 hours from now. Voters will get to weigh in on the presidential election and several other state and local races. Our Katrina Weber is live near downtown with more information about what's happening here. Now, you mentioned earlier that you can cast your ballot at any polling place.
Well, that's right. Any polling place in your county. These are the rules only for early voting, though. If you wait until the actual election day, you will have to go to your designated location. Now, the early voting hours start at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning and will stay open until 6 all this week. Now, as we get closer to election day, there will be some late night hours, some nights as late as 10 o'clock. And there also will be weekend hours offered. Now, this time around, there also are more days for early voting as well. The governor signed a proclamation extending that period due to the large number of registered voters this time around. In Barrett County alone, there are 125,000 more registered voters than there were during the 2016 presidential election. Now, if you are concerned about social distancing, remember that the AT&T Center will be opened up as a polling place, and you can go there where you'll have plenty of space to do that. If you have any questions, you can contact the elections office. That number for Barrett County is 210-335-VOTE or 335-8683. Reporting live near downtown, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Katrina. Two brothers desperate for answers this morning after they say their mother was found severely beaten downtown this past Monday. That's all happening right in front of the Little Chapel of Miracles on North Frio Street. Matthew Bessie says his mother, 61-year-old Carrie Bessie, found having a seizure. She was declared brain dead, and her sons made the decision to take her off life support. Now, one of her sons says an SAPD officer told him she may have fallen, but because of having 4 different brain bleeds, a broken pelvis, and a broken knee, they believe there's much more to this story.
Trauma surgeon, the doctor that told us everything, he believes that it's blunt force trauma because injuries like that doesn't happen from a fall. It doesn't happen from anything like that. If physically somebody has to punch you hard enough in the back of the head and the side of the head to cause that injury.
Bessie said his mother was homeless and schizophrenic. He said he believes she wandered off before she was attacked and robbed of her belongings. Now they await an autopsy, and they're asking anyone with any information to contact police immediately.
In national news, to the Supreme Court, the confirmation hearings for Judge Amy Coney Barrett will start today.
That's right. In her opening remarks, Judge Barrett will say she will follow in the steps of her mentor, Justice Antonin Scalia. Elizabeth Schulze is in Washington with the latest.
Both the election and the coronavirus pandemic looming large over the Supreme Court confirmation hearing of Judge Amy Coney Barrett. The 22 senators on the Judiciary Committee are expected to appear both in person and virtually during the 4-day event, with 2 Republicans, Mike Lee of Utah and Tom Tillis of North Carolina, recently testing positive for COVID-19. Senate Judiciary Chairman Lindsey Graham telling Fox News Barrett will be confirmed before Election Day.
That's my hope. It'll be up to Senator McConnell what to do after the 22nd, but we can easily get her confirmed before the election.
Senate Democrats vowing to do everything they can to slow down the process.
When the actual vote occurs in committee and on the floor, Democrats will not supply the quorum, period.
Democrats, including Senator and Vice Presidential nominee Kamala Harris, are expected to make the case health care is at stake. with the court set to hear arguments on a challenge to the Affordable Care Act just 1 week after the election.
We are going to focus on the issues that really explain her philosophy and what she will bring to the Supreme Court, what changes she'll make in this country.
Judge Barrett will say her philosophy has been shaped by her mentor, the late Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia, according to a copy of her opening statement obtained by ABC News, saying that deciding policy should be left to the elected branches of government, and the public should not expect courts to do so, and courts should not try. If confirmed, the 48-year-old devout Catholic and mother of 7 would solidify a 6-3 conservative majority on the court. On the campaign trail, Joe Biden refusing to answer questions about whether he would support packing the court, adding justices to shift that balance back toward Democrats if he wins.
They'll know my opinion on court packing when the election is over.
Well, sir, don't the voters deserve to know where you stand?
An official also tells ABC News Democrats are expected to mount additional challenges to the safety of the hearings, citing the pandemic. But without a majority in the Senate, Democrats say they lack any meaningful tools to prevent Judge Barrett from getting confirmed. Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News, Washington.
In your morning headlines, a new political ad makes it sound like Dr. Anthony Fauci is praising President Donald Trump's response to the pandemic. However, Dr. Fauci says the ad takes him out of context and that he is not endorsing any political candidate. The infectious diseases expert says President Trump's campaign is quoting him without his permission.
And Twitter once again flagging a tweet from President Donald Trump. Yesterday, the president claimed without evidence that he is now immune to COVID-19. The CDC says survivors are not, in fact, immune. Twitter says that the president's tweet actually violates its ban on spreading misleading and potentially harmful information about this pandemic.
And the winners for the Nobel Prize in Economics were announced in Stockholm today. Americans Paul R. Milgram and Robert B. Wilson won the award for improvements to auction theory and inventions of new auction formats. The Nobel Committee says the men's discoveries have, quote, benefited sellers, buyers, and taxpayers around the world.
In your morning consumer news, oil rigs in the Gulf are reopening after Hurricane Delta. Energy companies are starting to put crews back on rigs and workers back into facilities. Well, that was shut down by the storm. More than 90% of offshore oil production and over 60% of natural gas production in the Gulf has been offline. Time now at 6:40, 74 degrees out.
Non-traditional or freelance jobs can give you more freedom and flexibility. But there are some downsides that can cost you. After the break, we're going to run down the things you need to know before venturing into a self-run business.
Good morning, welcome back, and happy Monday. Anyone in the gig economy falls under the category of non-traditional jobs. And without employee benefits or a regular paycheck, a lot of people are having a hard time saving for the future.
A recent survey says 1 in 3 gig workers have no retirement savings. Our Eric Hernandez shares the long-term downsides and what you could potentially do to save yourself.
Artists, waitresses,
thank you.
ride-sharing drivers.
All right, I'm your Uber.
These non-traditional jobs promote freedom and flexibility, but their downsides can cost you. A recent study from the Center for Retirement Research shows that 3 out of 4 U.S. workers ages 50 to 62 do not have an employer-provided retirement plan or health insurance, which will result in them having 26% less in their retirement income.
A company could be paying 100% of your health benefits, and that could be anywhere from $600 to $700 a month.
If you're non-traditional, you're accountable for paying 100% of your Social Security and Medicare taxes through self-employment tax, while employers pay a portion of those. You'll also have no way to automatically contribute to a retirement account and won't have an employer's match. Most experts agree that you will need to make 2 to 2.5 times your former full-time salary to cover insurance, work expenses, savings, vacation, and sick days. A few other things to think about before jumping into the freelance economy. Cash flow is inconsistent. Not everyone will pay you on time. You will need 3 to 6 months worth of expenses, including rent and savings, to be safe. And if you need more money, well, you'll need to find more work. Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
All right, well, there you go. I'm glad she explained what gig economy was.
Yeah.
Because it can be kind of confusing. We know it as freelancers or independent contractors.
Yeah, and a lot of people do this in between jobs.
True.
But it's hard to save up when you're doing that kind of work.
Yeah, it's becoming more and more popular with Uber drivers, Lyft, and all the delivery services. All right.
Speaking of driving.
Speaking of driving, 6:46 right now. It has been a slow morning for the roadways. How are we looking out there?
Well, hopefully it'll stay that way for the rest of the morning commute. Max and Stephanie. Right now, as we take a look, you can see the map void of any incidents. Moving over to TransGuide. First, take a look at 1604. We're going to start out here, 1604 Kyle Seal, and as we move around to 1604 at Military Drive, and then 1604 at Old Houseman, you can see traffic is starting to move ever so slightly. But then 410 Starcrest, we're also seeing increases in traffic on those eastbound, or westbound rather, main lanes.
Not too bad for a Monday. And
Okay.
I love
The
this picture.
Just take the video full.
Adorable.
I mean, look at how,
cute.
Is that the cutest child and the greatest picture ever?
Yes, so cute. Little Mela. Love it.
Mela getting
Love it.
ready for fall.
Aww.
Oh my God, and those little cheekies on there, you could just pinch them right there on the screen. So.
Thank you for the picture.
No kidding. I just leave that up there and talk about the weather. Wish I could. Thank you very. That was. Oh my goodness, that child is adorable. All right, we do have a lot of clouds around this morning, and get ready when you step outside because it is very, very warm and very, very humid out there. And even in parts of the hill country, we've got temperatures that are in the upper 60s and low 70s. Now, just to kind of put it in perspective, by Saturday morning, these temperatures are going to be about 20 to 25 degrees lower. So we're going to be looking at about 50 in San Antonio and even 40s in parts of the hill country. But we got to wait till Saturday morning. So we do have a front moving through today, and that's going to come through about, say, noon or so. Wind right now is basically out of the south, or there's not much wind to deal with as of right now. But then you go up into the northern portion of the state, 22-mile-per-hour winds in Dallas, 16 in Abilene, even San Angelo at 14 coming in here out of the north. So the front is working its way down in our direction. Like I said, it will come through about midday, right around noon, give or take, obviously a little sooner in parts of the hill country. Looking at the broad picture, first of all, this is the leftovers of Delta as it came on shore and then worked its way across the southeastern United States. Still a big rain producer out there. Notice how everything is moving almost still straight west to east. So this is not the front today. Yeah, it's going to get rid of the humidity, and it is going to keep us at least cooler than where we were yesterday. Yesterday was 97, the new record. Today will be at 90. But what we're going to be seeing, and here's the first front that moves on through. Like I said, not any big drop when these wind lines come out of Canada. That's when you get the really, really cold stuff around here and the really good fall weather. So we stay almost a zonal pattern going through the first half of the week. Then we get into Thursday, and that's when we have the next front moving on through. And this is going to be a much more pronounced change in the upper level winds. We get more of that roller coaster action, if you will. The big low developing up there in Canada, right around Hudson Bay. That's going to help to pull down some of those cooler, more fall-like temperatures around here later on in the week. So 2 fronts this week, at least. This one today is going to get rid of the humidity. We are going to be up to 85 degrees at noon, partly cloudy skies. The wind will shift around, especially in the hill country, and then work its way down to the south. And so the wind will continue to shift around. It's going to be breezy today as well, with winds about 15, 20, 25 miles per hour and gusting, especially in the hill country. And 90 today for a high temperature. Still about 7 above normal, but much drier air, so much more comfortable today. Then tomorrow, more like where we should be starting off. Low 60s, mid to lower 60s. We get up into the upper 80s. Warm again on Wednesday, preceding that front. Still pretty warm on Thursday, but the front moves on through here down to the low 70s and mid 70s over the weekend, starting off at 50 Saturday morning.
So right now, it is warmer than it's going to be all of Friday.
Correct.
That's awesome.
And it's still going to be breezy. What great news.
Look at that. Really feeling the fall weather.
Yeah. Thanks, Mike, for bringing that fall weather.
Yeah, it's all because of Mike, but we get to blame you when it's the alternative.
No, no, just the nice
On
one.
days like this, just send donations.
Thanks, Mike. 650, 74 degrees out.
And good news if you're looking for a unique place to stay for your next vacation. Tomorrow on GMSA, some new twists on finding an out-of-the-way place to stay on your next trip.
And taking a live look out at the Alamo City, 74 degrees, humid start to your morning. Whew, 74 now. This is going to be warmer than all of Friday. Just wait. We're going to have that fall feeling soon enough. We'll be right back.
Good morning. Coming up here on GMA, a big day on Capitol Hill. The confirmation hearing for Amy Coney Barrett set to get underway this morning. What you can expect in the Supreme Court showdown. All of that coming up right here on GMA.
The wait is nearly over for people who want to have an early say in this year's presidential election. Good morning, I'm Katrina Weber. Early voting in Texas is set to begin tomorrow morning. The polls open at 8 a.m. and will stay open until 6 every night this week. As we get closer to Election Day, there will be some extended hours until 10 some nights. There also are weekend hours offered. The early voting period also is longer this year due to a proclamation signed by the governor. Now remember, for early voting, you can cast your ballot at any polling place within the county. If you do wait till Election Day, then you'll have to go to your designated location. If you have any questions, you can contact the Barrett County Elections Office at 210-335-VOTE or 335-8683. Reporting near downtown, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
And of course, if you have any questions, we have everything you need to know before you head to the polls. Just head to KSAT.com.
That's right. And we had a pretty okay Monday when it comes to the roads. How's it looking now, Officer Marcus Trujillo?
Not a bad start. We've managed to make it without any accidents on the highway so far. So just a few more minutes to go. Right now, switching from the map over to TransGuide, 604 Kyle Seal, started to see increases in the traffic on those eastbound main lanes. I-10 at the Y here in the downtown area. So far, no issues there. Mike?
Thank you, sir. And usually at this time we can see the nice glow of the sunrise, but as you can see, there's a few clouds that are illuminated. We got a bunch of them out there, and it is warm. It's humid, 73 right now, some 60s out there, but the humidity is just sky high. That's all going to be going away, though, right around noon when the front moves on through here. So we're going to be up to 90 later on today. Northerly wind 15, 20 and gusty, and that's going to pull down much drier. Still on the warm side, not anywhere near as hot as what we had over the weekend, and stays hot through the first half of the week, and then another front Thursday.
All right.
Looking forward to that.
Yes, that's going to be a good one.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you back here at 9 a.m.
Have a great day.